It is empty. It's been empty in here for about 4 weeks. We just got the notice yesterday that we're gonna be closed for another 2 weeks. So this year, it'll be a total of 3 months out of the year that we've been closed. This is the door where they tell us not to open, starting from December 15th. They started from the 15th to the 28th. They extended it the day before we were supposed to open. So from the 29th to the 3rd. Today's the 4th. They just stacked another piece of paper on a door. From the 4th to the 17th. Business is closed. This is the nature of the way things are here in Busan right now with the coronavirus. Today we had 22 positive cases. To give more like a walkthrough of what's going on with the shutdowns these days here in Busan. All right, I'm walking down the street here, headed home. And as we go, I thought I'd show you guys the neighborhood. And up here, this yellow sign means that they're going out of business. The cafe here has been in summer for a really long time. Here, over on the right, pretty much this whole building is closed except the PC room on like the sixth floor or so. Closed. This place here is one of my go-to spots since they can only stay open until 9 p.m. and since it's more of like a drinking spot. This place is closed. It's more of like a party bar. Tom and Tom's, another one of those cafes. They have a lot of places to sit. No one wants to pay a lot of money for takeaway coffee, so they're staying closed. Sujay Beer is a craft beer bar. They haven't opened since the 9 p.m. curfew. And as we go down the street, there's more out of business. This place is closed, 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 out of business. The point of today's video is why so many people in the fitness industry are so angry at the government policies that are coming out right now. All right, so now that we're back home, I've got a piece of paper up on the wall to help show exactly what's going on here in South Korea. A lot of anger and frustration coming out of health club owners, anyone that owns any kind of business in the health and fitness industry. I thought the best way to demonstrate exactly why people are so peeved about it this time around would be to just draw a simple line. So I've got a piece of paper here, I've got a permanent marker, and I'm gonna try to explain to you guys the line. So without ado, we have one axis going up and down, one axis going left and right. Perfect. This is gonna be on a scale from 0 to 10. 10 being sports that are at the greatest risk, 0 being absolutely no possibility of coronavirus being contracted. Yeah, there are some activities that are more dangerous than others, but a music concert. A music concert will gather thousands of people in a close proximity enough that they can make a huge super spreading event. So let's put that up here. I think to scale it to 10, it's gotta be a pretty large scale. There's gotta be a lot of people involved and people have to be in close quarters. So there we go. We've measured out our 10. I don't know, maybe a 3. Just to give a little bit of reference of where we're starting, a 2 will just be going on a walk with a friend, outside, okay, outdoors. A scale from 3 to 7 or 3 to 9 that we're gonna be using to see which activities are allowed and which activities are not allowed. First one that we're gonna look at is the sport of boxing. Now boxing, you're pretty close. You're gonna be indoors with another person, sweating, breathing really hard. Of course, it depends on how many people there are, but most boxing gyms are not really that big. There's not a whole lot of people involved when it comes to boxing. Put that at a 7. It is a high contact sport after all, lots of heavy breathing. Right next to it, we'll put kickboxing. Kickboxing is pretty much the exact same thing as boxing. Okay, and there you see it. They're both a 7. Let's go on. Why don't we add wrestling to the line? Wrestling is pretty close quarter contact, pretty much like kickboxing. There's not gonna be a whole lot of people in a wrestling gym, but since there is a lot of contact, let's put it at an 8.5. We're gonna put jiu-jitsu, since I run a jiu-jitsu gym, we wanna see how that's working out. Wrestling, judo, jiu-jitsu are pretty much all the same, so we'll just put them all at 8.5. All right, so we've got 5 different sports activities up on the chart so far. Why don't we just start drawing the line? Stay at a nice 2. A nice steady 2 would just be a straight line. That would be the ideal thing to get this pandemic under control. Pretty much all sports are supposed to be closed here in South Korea, except a few. If we start at a 2, one of the ones that are allowed for up to 9 people is the sport of boxing. So the line is gonna have to go all the way up here to accommodate for boxing to be allowed. I'm gonna have to use a impromptu ruler here. I'm just use it as a straight edge. Boxing is allowed here in South Korea at this moment for up to 9 people until 9 p.m. Unfortunately, kickboxing is not. So if you have a kickboxing gym, you're shit out of luck. Next up on the list of things that are allowed are wrestling and judo, whereas Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is not allowed. And you can see, we can kind of zig and zag up, below, and above judo, just to kind of fit in the ones that we want to fit in take out the ones that we don't want. They're pretty much all at the same risk level, but you know, here's where it gets a little bit weird. How about one-on-one private training at a health club? Should it be allowed? First of all, let's assess its risk level. Since it's literally just two people meeting up, any type of fitness institute where only two people are gathering to meet is pretty low risk. If they both have coronavirus, the impact of that will be pretty low. Probably more risky than two people meeting up for a workout is probably 4 or 5 people meeting up to have a drink or to eat a meal together. Simply because of the exposure and because it's also possible to socially distance when you have one-on-one lessons as well. People can kind of keep their distance, they can wear masks if they choose to do so. Outdoor walking is at a 2, but since a one-on-one private lesson workout is probably gonna be a little bit more intense, it could be anywhere in the range of 3 to 4. Let's just give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's give it 3 because some people are gonna be pretty safe with that type of activity. Unfortunately, the country does not allow one-on-one lesson. Although judo is allowed in groups of 9 people, we can't include one-on-one lessons of any kind in any other sport, whether it's just a workout or anything else. So the line's got to come back down to accommodate for that. It's going to be a pretty steep drop here. There's also skiing. Now skiing, I don't think it's really that dangerous because it's an outdoor sport. However, the scale of people who are coming to these ski resorts typically means that there's a large amount of people, hundreds of people using the same ski lifts, using the same places to eat meals. Still though, you know, it's not as close contact or high contact as some of the other sports that we have up on here. So we'll just put it as a 6. Skiing actually is allowed here in South Korea. There was a group of community spread of COVID at a ski resort, so they promptly closed it down for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, they just opened it right back up again while all the other health facilities are closed. So that's a bit of a strange one to me, if you ask. But we got to bring the line back up so we can include skiing. Golfing is also allowed. Personally, I don't think golfing is really that dangerous, but one of the funny things here about South Korea is that at this moment, we're not supposed to be meeting with more than 4 people. So if you're going out to eat, actually scratch that. If you're going to work, as many people, hundreds of people can meet together, no problem. Once you get off work, you should just go straight home. If you want to go eat a meal or go sit at a bar, it can be no more than 4 people. If you're sitting at your house with 5 people, technically you're kind of breaking the law, buddy. This applies to everyone, anywhere, all throughout the country, whether it's in Seoul, where the cases of COVID are much worse, or whether you're in other places like Jeju-do, where the cases really aren't that bad yet. Interesting thing though is if you're golfing, you can golf with up to 5 people. That's right, not 4, 5 people only when you're golfing, because one person needs to caddy. So I don't know why they made that exception. But I think it's just further insult to injury when you think about it, with all these exceptions that they've been adding, including some sports, but not other sports. There are, of course, more sports and more exceptions that don't seem to make sense. You can see from here the way I've drawn the graph. What would be fair in this case would be to have a straight line. Unfortunately, the line is nowhere close to straight. And where they say that an ideal line would probably be at like a 3, it should be a straight line really, but they've made exceptions to all sorts of different sports, including exceptions within the exceptions. Oh, and I forgot to add a few here. Some of the more important ones like health clubs, Pilates, yoga, are also all not allowed. Measures need to be taken for people to social distance and take it seriously. However, here in South Korea, the way that they've written the policies, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. The line is nowhere close to straight, and in no way are these policies fair for everyone involved. It doesn't seem like the lockdowns are doing very much to bring down the number of cases this time. So there's just a lot of desperation here in South Korea, a lot of anger as people start going out of business. So here's the line that we're dealing with here right now. It's not very straight, and it's not very easy to understand why some things are allowed when other things are not.